House of Gucci, baby. House of freaking Gucci. Let's do it. Hello. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to talk about House of Gucci. This is a film I checked out last night. It tells the story of Patrizia Reggiani, an outsider from humble beginnings who marries into the Gucci family, and her ambition begins to unravel the family legacy, triggering a reckless spiral of betrayal and revenge. So this review is going to be mostly non-spoiler. This is a historical movie. This is based on a true story. But if you don't know the story, if you have no idea about what happens in the Gucci family, and you want to know absolutely nothing, you can wait till later to check this out. But I am going to try to keep this as spoiler-free as possible. Was very, very much intrigued by this film, mainly because of that cast and the director, none other than Ridley Scott, who directed 3 films in the Alien franchise, including the original Alien and other great movies, Black Hawk Down, Blade Runner, The Martian, several other great movies, and just had to check this out, especially when you see this cast. Whoa, are you kidding me? Jared Leto, Al Pacino, Adam Driver, Jeremy Irons, Selma Hayek. What? This is a must-see. The only concern I had was Lady Gaga, and I'm not saying Lady Gaga can't act. Actually, I didn't know. I had no clue. It just seemed like, how can Lady Gaga be the lead in a film with that kind of cast? Lady Gaga better have some talent that I didn't know she had. And guess what? She has it. I kind of figured she had to be good. There's no way that Ridley Scott would even direct a film with somebody who is not capable as a lead actress with this kind of a cast. They would just all walk off the set and be like, we're out of here. We ain't gonna work with this amateur. That couldn't happen. She had to be good. So I expected her to be good. But goddamn, she absolutely nailed the role as Patrizia, exactly how I envisioned Patrizia to be. That's how she was. She seemed sweet at the beginning, hard to kind of gauge, hard to tell, but you see something that kind of makes you think, I don't know, there's something sinister going on there. Is she marrying this guy because she loves him? Or is she marrying him because she wants to get into the Gucci family, get her little fingers in there and make money and become rich? And the man that she marries is Adam Driver's character, Mauricio. And Mauricio Gucci, he does a fantastic job in this role from the beginning. Seems like a very humble, very kind individual, kind of shy, soft-spoken, but you grasp onto him right away. You really love his character. At least I did. And it's somebody to follow and root for throughout the film. Adam Driver does an amazing job. You do see his personality kind of evolve through the movie. He does gain more confidence. Part of that is because he gets pissed off at his wife, and that whole dynamic is really interesting, and that's really what drives this movie. Those two at the top, that's the most interesting part of the movie in my opinion. So I thought both of them were outstanding. The rest of the cast, of course, Al Pacino pretty much plays Al Pacino, but with a little Italian accent, and he's awesome in this movie. Love Al Pacino on screen. Now, as for Jared Leto's character, Paolo, who is the son of Al Pacino's character, I gotta be honest, like, he is way over the top, and he plays a character who's basically the Fredo Corleone of this movie. If you've seen the Godfather franchise, you know about Fredo, the kind of idiot son, the moron, the dumbass, the guy who just can't be trusted, you know, but they go way over the top with it, way over the top with Paolo here, and make him out to be just not only not very smart or talented, but Jared Leto comes out with this insane accent. I mean, full Mario Brothers here. And it's just crazy because everyone else, the rest of the cast, including his father in the movie, played by Al Pacino again, very, very mild Italian accent. They don't want to go too crazy with it. First of all, you know, these are mostly American actors, so their accents, I'm not really sure, to be honest. I thought they sounded okay for the most part, but obviously if you speak Italian or you're more familiar with, you know, detecting a good Italian accent, I know that you may be able to, maybe the accents aren't so great. I'm not really sure. It didn't bother me other than Jared Leto's because it was just so out. I mean, it was just so crazy. I'm a genius. Check out my designs and my fashion design. Is this so amazing? Why nobody cares about my design? Oh, where is the puppy? A little bossina. Nobody cares about my design. But I gotta say, the cast put 100% effort, if nothing else, for better or worse in some cases. Selma Hayek's character also, I thought, a little bit over the top and comic effect there. And there's some aspects of her character that are different from the real life story, and it makes less sense in the movie. I don't know why they changed some things. That's all I'll say about that. But Selma Hayek is very good and enjoyable when she's on screen. But one thing that I worried about, and for good reason, there are so many great actors, and they all got to have some screen time, right? You don't want just Al Pacino to have a quick cameo. You don't want Selma Hayek to have a quick cameo, even though she didn't play a big role in the movie. They had to find screen time for all of these actors, including Jared Leto's character as Paolo. And what you get is a lot of distractions from the story that I think really drives the movie, which is the relationship between Mauricio and Patrizia. That's really what I want to see. And it was, so the first hour was extremely intriguing, extremely interesting, and I really was enjoying myself. Had no clue how long this movie was, though. After the first hour, I still had almost 2 hours left in this movie. And you start, getting more into the Gucci business side of things and, the two fathers and, their relationship. And then, you get, and again, I enjoy Al Pacino on screen, but you start to kind of get fatigued over the course of the movie because it's not quite interesting enough in comparison to the main storyline. And I want to know more about what's going on with them, how this relationship is starting to unravel, the true crime aspect of this movie and what eventually goes down. And I felt like that was kind of shortchanged. And by the time they finally got into that at the end, it was like, boom, movie just ended. I felt like the third act, when, everything had happened, you saw the relationship between Mauricio and Patrizia was having its problems. And I don't want to say too much about it, just in case, I'm trying to keep it as spoiler-free as possible. But basically, when the shit goes down and it hits the fan there at the end, it's just like boom, 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 over. I didn't feel like there was a good, strong third act. If you're going to wait 2.5 hours, you want something big, kind of like, I've mentioned Godfather. I'm not really comparing. This is not really a gangster movie. It looks like it's going to be a gangster movie, but it's not really. It's a fashion company, Gucci, but still, there is a long wait and you need some payoff, and the payoff felt very minimal. Now, maybe had the movie been a little shorter, I think it would have been more acceptable, because you're not getting bored, you're not waiting, and by that time you're at the end, you're like, okay, give me something here, because it does start to definitely drag. Which brings me back to what I said earlier about the camp in some of the characters, the over-exaggeration with Jared Leto, over-exaggeration a little bit with Selma Hayek's character, Pina. I thought at least it was entertaining, funny, and just crazy, and you kind of need that because the movie starts to drag. It's long. I think it's longer than it needs to be at the end of the day. I think the big thing that took place at the end, without saying what it was, there should have been more build up to it, and there should have been more aftermath. Even maybe a police investigation, all of that could have made for a badass movie, I think. If you had the same first hour and then the second hour was focused on that entire incident, then you would have had a tight movie. But yeah, you would have had to lose some screen time from Jared Leto, or maybe some of the main things that I might want to change. Yeah, there would be a little less screen time for his character. But first of all, I don't really love the comedic approach and the over-the-top approach, because, this kid's a real guy. I watched interviews with Paolo. He was not an idiot. He was not an idiot at all. He didn't talk like that. He had a very mild Italian accent. And he was actually pretty smart. He sounded smart, and he was actually a good designer. So, you're talking about a real guy here, and they really didn't do Paolo. They didn't do Paolo right in this movie, in my opinion. I would have just backed up on it, made him a respectable character, and you could have thrown in there that he was trying to get designs, and they weren't taking the designs seriously because they were a little ahead of his time, if nothing else. But the focus should be on the true crime aspect and the relationship between Patrizia and Mauricio. That's where it's at right there, and they were phenomenal. I think that would have just made this movie a lot better if it was just a little tighter and really focused more on that. In my personal opinion, I think it was just all over the place, trying to add some camp, trying to add some humor, trying to add a story here, then trying to talk about the family, the legacy of the Gucci. It's interesting, sure, but you got something way more interesting, and I think the focus should have been there. That's just my personal opinion. I think a lot of people will agree with that, but I'm not really sure. But at the end of the day, it's still an enjoyable film. It's just overly long. I don't see myself watching this in one go again. I'm not saying I wouldn't. I probably will buy this on Blu-ray, and it's something that, watch hour and a half of one night, continue the next night, you know, because it's tough to get through in one sitting. It's just because it's really, really long. Not that it's bad, it's just long and it drags. And there's moments you're like, okay, let's get back to Patrizia, Mauricio. What's going on there? I don't really, you know, this stuff is interesting, but I read a book. You know, let's get back to the good stuff. But the acting, phenomenal. Cinematography, the sound, the music. There's a lot of interesting songs here in this one I forgot to mention. So that kind of go with the time periods. I'm not saying the time periods are accurate to the real life story. I think that they took some liberties there, but still, it is interesting. Just kind of all over the place though with the tone and stuff. But still good movie. It's still enjoyable. I mean, look at that cast. You got to appreciate that cast, and they all gave 100%. So overall, I'm not gonna not recommend this movie. You don't have to see this in theaters. It's something you can definitely stream or whatever later on when it comes out, available on other platforms. But as of now, I feel like this movie is good, but I gotta say, not great. Good, not great for the House of Gucci. Let me know what you think if you've seen it down below, and please hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I really appreciate you guys. Let's go. Let's hit that 1,000 subscribers ASAP. Y'all are awesome, and we'll see you next time.